Good evening. My name is Dinesh Mishra, and I'm working as a database administration on DB2 mainframe. So today I'm going to show you the assignment one for computer and cloud security, for which I have done all the assigned try-hacking rooms. The purpose of this video is to provide an in-depth analysis of the key cybersecurity concept based on the try-hacking rooms for the computer and the cloud security that we have been assigned to. The objective in doing all these assigned rooms is to enhance the learning, which offers the structured insight into the cybersecurity threats and defense mechanism to improve the practical skills that will help us to apply theoretical knowledge through the hands-on experiences and raise the awareness for individuals as well as organizations about the security vulnerabilities and mitigation strategies, and also to strengthen our defensive posture. So first of all, I would like to share the dashboard from the Try Hack Me for the computer and cloud security. So the progress shows is 100%. So I have completed all the rooms assigned for us in the path for every week, and then we can go to the some of the rooms that we have completed in every week. So the first room that I'm talking about is cyber kill chain. I have taken few notes to explain it in a simple way. For the cyber kill chain, the definition is cyber kill chain developed by the Lockheed Martin helps security professional detect, respond, and mitigate the cyber threat. This particular room explain all the stages that are used by the adversaries in the cyber attack. To memorize it, I have devised an acronym that real wild dog eat ice cream always. So that is helping us remember the various phases like reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, action, and objective. The takeaway from this is breaking the attack chain at any stage, and that will be helpful for the companies or an individual to prevent a full-blown cyber attack. Let's now move to the next room, which is Windows and Linux privilege escalations. So privilege escalation is gaining the higher access on the system than initially granted. So there are two types of privilege escalation. One is vertical and one is horizontal. So in the vertical, it is like gaining the access above your level, that is admin or the root access, and horizontal is gaining the access to another user's account similar to your access levels, but it is the different user that is thus credentials being used. So common techniques used are misconfigured GUID files on Linux, or exploiting unpatched kernel vulnerabilities, or registry manipulation on the Windows, credential dumpings and token impersonations, etc. The defense strategies used are regular system updates, restricting admin privileges, and monitor for suspicious privilege changes. So I have already started the try hack me room to save the time for the Windows privilege escalation, and let's try to get the password for one of the users on this virtual machine. So if we type this command on the PowerShell for the for obtaining the password for Julia Jones, here the password can be seen, which is used as a console history host history command. Also, we can find the DB admin's password and also the other task answers like the try hack me flag. So let's try to find out the DB admin user password using the query commands from here. Yeah. So here you can see the DB admin password is this, and if we log in using this password, we can do all the activities that any admin user have the authorities to do. The next room that we are looking into is the authentication bypass. Authentication bypass occurs when an attacker gains access without proper credentials. It can be done using the SQL injection or default or the weak credentials or flawed session management and broken authentication logic. Some of the defense strategies against the authentication bypass could be using strong password policies and implementing multi-factor authentications. Regular security audits and the secure session management can also help avoid the authentication bypass attacks. Let's look into the try hack me room in one of the tasks where it is asking us to find the admin. So I have started the target machine. It's asking us to sign up for Acme, I think, and find the already used credentials. So here the admin password we are not sure about. So we'll try to register the admin, and it says an account with this username already exists. To exploit this vulnerability, we are running the FUF tool as they have asked us to. Start the terminal. And it will scan through all the valid users. The next one we are talking about is the OWASP top-10 broken access control. So access control is a mechanism used to control the users or the systems that are allowed to access the particular resource of this. If there is there are different types of access control like discretionary access control, mandatory access control, role-based, or attribute-based control. But if there is a problem with this granting or the authorization, there is a risk of horizontal or vertical privilege escalation. And that can be done using the various techniques the adversaries might use. So adversaries might use the force browsing hidden admin panels or privilege escalations by insecure API endpoints. It is also possible to insecure direct object reference in the web pages, and they can get the access to the web page. To avoid this, implementing the proper role-based access control or validating the access at the server side or using the secure authentication mechanisms can be helpful. Next, move on to the next room, which is introduction to the malware. So malware is basically any malicious software developed by the cyber criminals, often to attack the potential machines to steal the data or damage or destroy the computers or the computer systems. The analysis of the malware involves dissecting the malicious software to understand its behavior. There are various types of malware such as viruses, worms, trojans, ransomware, spywares, or rootkits. The analysis techniques of the malware involves the static, dynamic, or advanced analysis techniques. So this room talks about the various techniques of the malware analysis. So the defense strategies based on this analysis are using the endpoint security solutions or regular software updates and practicing the safe browsing habits. The next room we're talking about is from the week 7, which is enumeration and brute force attacks. By definition, enumeration is gathering the information about a system, while brute force is systematically guessing the credentials to with, log in to the system or a machine on which the hacker or the person is not authorized. The common enumeration techniques are finding open ports using the nmap or checking user accounts and shares. Brute force methods involves dictionary attacks, credential stuffing, or password spraying. To avoid these sort of attacks, one should implement the account lockout mechanisms or use the CAPTCHA for login or monitor the failed login attempts so that the attackers should not guess the passwords very easily. Finally, we are talking about the virtualization and the container rooms in the try hack me. Virtualization and containerization. Virtualization basically enables you to run the multiple operating systems on hardware of a single physical server, while the containerization enables you to deploy multiple applications using the same operating systems on a single virtual machine. These techniques are used to improve the efficiency, but there is a risk of introducing some security vulnerabilities as well. So the key technologies used in the virtualization and containerization is virtual machines or Docker containers or Kubernetes or container orchestration. The security concerns then is virtual machine escape by breaking out of the virtual machines to access the host system, or insecure container configuration or misconfigured Kubernetes clusters. The defense strategies used to avoid any sort of vulnerabilities is regular security patching for virtualization software or implementing the least privilege access for the container or using the image scanning tools to detect the vulnerabilities. Through the computer and cloud learning paths in TryHackMe, several key insights and challenges were encountered, and it was a great learning experience to get the hands-on experience on working on various technologies and techniques that will be used for this cybersecurity. It helps us understand how the cyber attacks progress and learn how to detect and mitigate the threats at various stages. It helps us identifying and exploiting misconfigurations in Windows and Linux systems to gain the higher access, or exploiting security flaws in logging mechanism to gain unauthorized access, reorganizing and preventing the unauthorized resource access through misconfigured permission. It also helps us understand the malware behavior through static, dynamic, and advanced analysis techniques. These rooms help us gather the system information and attempting credential-based attacks. Also, securing the cloud-based technologies like Docker and Kubernetes were also a very new experience for me. So, interesting challenges that we encountered during all these rooms for the cloud and computer security are exploiting the misconfigured SUID binary to elevate the privilege in the Linux environment, because Linux is not the operating system that we used very often. Also, the performing SQL injection to bypass the authentication in the vulnerable web application was also a challenging thing. And also, conducting the brute force attacks was also one of the challenging things. To conclude, we can say that we explored the key cybersecurity concepts and techniques covered in the TryHackMe's cloud and computer security rooms. From understanding the cyber skill chain to mastering the Windows escalations, privilege escalations, etc. We delved into the essential security methodologies that attackers use and how to to defend or to mitigate them. We also examine authentication bypass and the broken access control vulnerabilities that can be compromised by the that can compromise the systems by the user. Our journey continued with the introduction to malware analysis, equipped with the skills to dissect and understand the malicious code. We also explore enumeration and the brute force techniques. They both are essential for attackers and penetration testers in identifying the system vulnerabilities. And finally, we covered the virtualization and containers, emphasizing the security implications in the modern computing environment. So to conclude this learning path, we can say that cybersecurity is a continuous learning process, and platforms like TryHackMe provide the valuable hands-on experience. So to keep our system and organizations or an individual safe. Thank you for watching. Thanks.